Good afternoon. Monday 20th of April is the date stamp. If this is the one you're looking for. Just wait, this is the preamble. A little bit late today, I think, coming in. Preamble, broadcast that's now about 4 minutes before we get going on the lunchtime movement snack. Yes, it's a bit rushed this morning, but we're here. Calm thoughts. Oh no, the calm stuff's at 4 o'clock. See how we go. Anyway, come on, stop rambling, Townley. Good to see you. Scotland, Northumberland, Derbyshire, Devon, Anita Grix, hot off the last webinar. Hello, Chris from Wales. Gosport, Andy. It's me bobbing up like a budgie. It's my budgie stance. Where did that 4 hours go? Well, I could tell you, but I won't. Hard to find us today, George. Maybe there's some... Yeah, the feed on the page is because I've been posting some extra videos, some extracurricular videos of outdoor scenes. When people comment on those, they kind of spring to the top of the page. Sorry about that. But you found us, George. That's the main thing. Greece is in. Hello. Bolton's in. Hello. Thanks, Janet. To be fair, so would I. It's a bit blowy today though. I'd have to have my hat on. My hair can't cope on windy days. But I'd love to have a cup of tea with you in the garden, Janet. Dawn needs some moves. Moves, not grooves. We don't do grooving. Not in this snack. Not on my watch. I think it's 30 seconds and then we're going to go. I think. Hello again, Maddie. Oh, reading. Should we just go? Should we just do it? A few more sneaking in the door. After our crackerjack moment yesterday, trying to think who did crackerjack, Chris from Wales here on the group said that when I put out the call to say who's in, it sounds like I'm saying, are you free? And then we started talking about, are you being served? Hello, Jane. Oh, yes, you should be in Suffolk. Diane, oh, nice to see you, Diane. Come on in. Yes. Does anyone else have problem with sound? Can everyone hear me? Maddie lost the cat, but you found it. Right, come on, let's get on with it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, my name is Bex Townley. Yeah, this is the start of week 5 of the Make Movement Your Mission. About 86 movement snacks under our belt. But it doesn't matter if you haven't been with us for 5 weeks. It's never too late to jump on the movement wagon. In this lunchtime movement snack, it's another 10 minutes-ish into the movement's benefits bag. And the aim of these snacks is to accumulate more movement minutes to then take into your days with all your other activities. Now, what we have been doing over these 5 weeks, all of the movements that the key themes from these movement snacks are from this active calendar. That's freely downloadable from this page. And we've been using a couple of progress checks just to help with motivation. And we're going to repeat one of those now. And I'm going to remind you and ask you to invite you to repeat one of the other ones when we go off the broadcast. But before we do that, let's do our usual circulation booster to get going. As always, pick your position. In seated or stand, I'll give options for both. As always, external support. Walls are great because they're universal, they can cope with all heights, but you might prefer something to put your hands on. So let's start our minute of circulation boosting in your preferred position. Start to just get the legs moving in sit or in stand, and then just be more mindful of how you're standing, a little bit taller, a little bit open through the chest, and start to focus on feet, ankles and toes. So we have this just rhythmical weight transfer, steady pace, just to do exactly what it says on the tin, boost the circulation. And as and when you can bring in arms, alternating arms. And if in seated, here's the seated prompts. If you haven't already, hip walk forward, just past centre. This means that your posture muscles can be active. The chair's not doing it. You can start either from the top end, on shoulder marching, or on the bottom end. So if feet, ankles are on the menu and are an option, again, really trying to focus on articulating the ankle, foot and toe movement. We're looking to optimise every movement, every opportunity, and when you're ready, single arm, double arm, or hands lightly together might help support coordination. And try to get a little bit more backward move on this arm. So whether you're in sit or you're stand, how does that feel for you? Do you feel balanced and steady? Are you lifted? Are you open? And are you really thinking about moving feet, ankles a bit more? Take a pause. So at the end of that circulation booster, we should just feel the need for a deeper breath. It's done the job. Increase the blood flow, increase the circulation to all the bits we're about to use. Shouldn't be out of breath, shouldn't be breathless or uncomfortable. Just before we move into the progress check on the sit to stands and jockey lifts, just a couple of shoulder mobility moves from our morning routine, just to lift open and really support a lifted, stronger posture to help with these drives out of the chair. Plus, please, just a little bit more ankle mobility. Just do a couple of those on each. Just be mindful, prepare the ankles ready. The same in seated. And in seated, you might want to just give your backside a bit of a squeeze as well to get ready. So, this progress check is on a timer of 30 seconds. That's back to front. I don't know why I'm showing you that. Here's the options. You have the option for the jockey lift or the full sit to stand. You choose which option is best for you. But if you've done this progress check before, i.e. up to 4 times, do the same option that you have been doing so that the measure of progress is comparable. Okay, so if you've always been on jockey lifts, see how those jockey lifts go. And try to do them at the same pace that you have been doing. Here's what they look like. As a reminder, here we go. So the jockey lifts forward, heels back and down, and your option is just the shift, the power through the heels, the strong posture, the hinge there, with or without support, backside off the chair. That's the seated option. The full stand, again, heels back and down, power up to stand, and a controlled sit. Not a really, really slow sit, as we've been focusing on. It's the power up and the sit down with control, but fluid pace and speed. Support options if you need. So, 30 seconds on the clock. Don't race, don't rush. Just quality sit to stand or jockey lifts, see how you go. And just be aware of your number. Ready? I'm going to start it. Go. So whatever your position you're in, control it, keep the heels down. Both options require heels to stay in the floor. Both options require really strong lifted posture. How high have you been coming off the chair with those jockey lifts? Support if you need, rest if you need to. You've got 5 seconds to go. Okay, so the idea then is you just write down that number. So today is either a comparison to your previous progress checks, or it might be a start point. Whatever it is, write it down. Or maybe you just watched that happen and you want to try it later. Now, these progress checks just give us a marker and really can support motivation. Quite often we forget where we've come from. We forget the progress we've made. So just making a note of these things can help. Okay, here's the next one. I'm not going to ask you to do this one now. Detailed in the active calendar here, and involves having a sense of how your balance is with your feet in 4 different positions. I'm just going to do a whistle-stop tour of this now to show you, and then do it when you're in your own time without me rushing you for these balance activities. So take up some support. Now, there isn't an immediate kind of replicable seated option for this, but seated balance is still relevant, and your measure would be on upright seated posture without sagging in the middle. Let's look at the standing option. Feet side by side. Take up support. Rehearse this with full support first, and then see how you go over time. So that's the first position. Can we stand upright, strong and steady for 10 seconds in this position? Ideally without support, but if you're still rehearsing and practicing, keep that fingertip on. If you're steady and confident in 10 seconds in this position without concern, we move on to the next step. Or you may feel after 3 or 4 seconds that you need to take a step, in which case it's the end of the progress check, and your measure is, I can stand for 4 seconds like this. 10 seconds is the max, so if I can achieve that, I move on. And the next position is feet slightly forward. So I take a step forward, like so. Can you see sideways? I take a step here. Same thing again, aiming for 10-second hold on that static position, ideally without hands for support. At the point that you need to take an extra step to regain balance, that's the time you note. If you can achieve 10 seconds, then we can move on to the next position, which is here, which is there. Make sure on this one that you do commit to that weight transfer and you have weight equal across both feet. There. Now, this one is potentially very challenging, depending on your start point, of course. So rehearse it first with lots of support, just to get used to that position. And then we're aiming to get into that position without support, and then make the 10 seconds again. See how you go. If you feel unsteady, stop the timer at the point that you need to take that step, or put the hand out. And the final position is one leg. Here's the one leg. And you might be asking what's the relevance of this? Well, in life when we walk, we're constantly transferring from one leg to another. So we spend, technically, half of our standing life on one leg whilst walking. But of course, as we're moving around homes and outdoors, our feet are constantly changing position. And every time that foot position changes, it's going to challenge my balance to a lesser or greater degree. So this gives us a measure of that ability to balance. So the last position is here. Let's prepare that leg, lift up, start with some support to kind of rehearse the check. And then we just pick the toe off and go for the balance. Now ideally, I use this leg as my stabiliser, my brake. I've got external support as well if I want to give me some confidence. And I'm aiming over time to achieve 10 seconds here on one leg. Now those 4 positions across those 10 second counts just give us a start point measure. You may not feel ready to try any of those, and that's kind of just understanding what the base point is. You could rehearse them with full support, see how you feel with that, and just progress that over time. So during these lunchtime movement snacks, we take up these standing activities that will challenge your balance to a less or greater degree. But it's important to know that we're not specifically looking to train balance in these movement snacks. So it's really key that we get the right start point and pick the right position for you. Just while we're here, just to finish off the movement snack, let's just do a few sets of our heel raises and toe raises, and we're crowbarring some wall press. So seated options is the same. So for the heel raises, they come back a bit and they're here, slowly down. For the toe raises, slightly forward a bit. Really pull those toes up and lower down. And if feet ankles aren't an option, you're on your buttock contractions with a functional reach. So we're lifting and reaching. Squeeze your buttocks, squeeze your anchor, and take the reach. In stand, let's take some heel raises with a slow control. You might want to add a little knee bend while you're there. So take some of those. To focus on strength, keep your hands on for support. Can you feel that right up in your calves here? Remember, low, slowly. While we're here, let's take up some toes. Remember, heel raises and toe raises come as a pair, more valuable as a pair. So don't forget those. We did more options on those yesterday. You could bring them together if you want to. Keep your backside tucked in. And let's just finish off the job on some upper body as well. So pick your position here. It can be a step and a press. Leave the hand behind for balance. You can either really focus on this ankle stride, foot placement here with the press. And you can take the hands in different positions. So this directly relates to any pushing activity. Could be out of bed, could be off the floor, could be off the sofa, could be out of a chair. And if you want to go for the full body loaded version, it's here. Keeping the elbows fairly tucked in. Leave a hand behind if you want. Remember, we've got the wrist loading going on there as well. Plus, this plank-like position means there's lots of activity going on through my trunk. Okay, if you didn't do the progress checks in that one, have a little think and go around. It just really helps to write that down. We've crowbarred in some heel raises, some toe raises and some wall press. All of these serve just to break up any kind of sitting time or sedentary morning that you've had, hopefully inspire you to go out and do more. But all of these movement snack activities are designed to support activities of daily living you're already doing. We'll be back at 4 o'clock for another 10 minutes. That's 30 minutes a day we're accumulating of purposeful, meaningful movement minutes. See you at 4. I'll be putting the call out about 3:30 and hope to see you there. Thanks for tuning in.